All right. Ready to like seriously level up your English?
Yeah.
We're going deep today into advanced vocabulary.
That's right.
So think, like really strong verbs,
Mhm.
adjectives that just make your writing come alive,
Yes.
and idioms
Oh, yeah.
that will make you sound like a native speaker.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just about knowing like a ton of words, though.
Right.
It's about using the right words at the right time.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, think of it like you're a chef, you know, and you're crafting a dish.
Right.
Each ingredient you choose has to be there for a reason.
It all works together.
Exactly. It's about precision.
Okay, so how do we get that precise with our language?
We start with the building blocks.
Okay.
Verbs.
The verbs. Okay.
Yeah, they're the action words.
The powerhouse of any sentence.
And I know we found some pretty powerful verbs.
Oh, we did in our research.
Advocate, articulate, scrutinize. These are words that pack a punch.
Yeah, they do feel different. They're not just basic verbs.
Right, they're a step up.
So let's break them down.
Okay, let's start with advocate.
Okay.
It's not just about, you know, liking an idea.
Right.
It's about really championing it.
Okay.
Fighting for it.
So like really getting behind it.
Exactly. Persuading others.
Oh, so there's like a persuasion element to it.
Yes, absolutely.
Interesting.
Think of like a lawyer advocating for their client.
Oh.
Or a politician advocating for a policy.
So it's a very strong kind of...
It is active.
Active, okay.
Yeah.
And articulate, what about that one?
Articulate is all about expressing yourself clearly.
Okay.
But with a certain finesse.
So not just saying what you think.
No, it's about choosing your words carefully.
Okay.
To have the most impact.
So it's like you're really thinking about how to say things.
Yeah. Eloquently and thoughtfully.
Oh, okay.
Like if you articulate a vision, people are going to listen.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because you're not just talking.
Right.
You're articulating.
Oh, right.
You're painting a picture with your words.
That's a good way to put it.
And then we have scrutinize.
Scrutinize, okay.
This one's all about careful examination. It's not just glancing at something. It's really digging deep.
Like investigating it.
Exactly, like a detective examining a crime scene.
Or like when you're researching something.
Yes. Looking for every detail.
Looking for clues.
Unearthing the hidden truth.
Oh, I like that.
So it's much more intense than just looking.
Definitely a powerful verb.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we've got these powerful verbs. Advocate, articulate, scrutinize.
Powerful tools for your language arsenal.
But what about adjectives?
Adjectives. They're the spice of language.
Okay, how so?
They add color and depth. They make your writing more vivid and engaging.
I feel like some of the adjectives we found are not ones you hear every day.
Some of them are quite unusual.
Like what?
Mellifluous, for instance.
Mellifluous. Okay. I'm not even sure I know what that means.
It means sweet sounding, like honey.
Oh.
So you could describe a singer's voice as mellifluous.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or a piece of music.
Wow, that's much better than just saying it sounds nice.
Exactly. It's much more evocative.
Okay, I'm liking this adjective already.
And that's the beauty of adjectives. They can really elevate your language.
Okay, so mellifluous is definitely going on my list.
Good. It's a good one to have.
But what about the more familiar adjective?
Like, none of those can have subtle shades of meaning.
Oh, really?
That you might not realize.
Okay, give me an example.
Sure. Take gruff, hoarse, and husky.
Okay.
They all describe voices, but they evoke very different images.
Okay, so like if someone has a gruff voice, I'm thinking maybe like a drill sergeant.
Exactly. Someone stern and authoritative.
But if they have a husky voice.
Husky could be a little more seductive, maybe.
Okay, interesting.
A smoky, sultry voice.
Okay, yeah, I see the difference.
And then hoarse is more strained.
Oh,
like someone who's been shouting.
Or maybe has a cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It suggests some kind of vocal strain.
So even those simple adjectives can have these subtle nuances.
They do.
That's really interesting.
It's all about choosing the right adjective.
Right, to paint the right picture.
Exactly, to create the desired effect.
Okay, so we've got powerful verbs.
Yes.
We've got these nuanced adjectives.
We do.
What else can we add to our language toolkit?
Idioms.
Idioms, yes.
The fun part.
Tell me about it.
Idioms are like little windows into a culture.
Okay.
They can be tricky to learn.
They can be.
But once you get them,
Yeah.
they add so much personality to your speech.
And humor.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes those idioms are pretty funny.
They are. And memorable.
So give me an example.
How about to let the cat out of the bag?
To let the cat out of the bag.
Okay, so that means to accidentally reveal a secret.
Oh.
So like if you're planning a surprise party
Yeah.
and someone tells the guest of honor.
You've let the cat out of the bag.
Exactly. It's much more vivid than just saying someone revealed the secret.
It is.
It creates this image in your mind.
Yeah, of a cat running out of a bag.
Exactly. And it injects a little humor into the situation.
Yeah, it does.
So idioms can be really useful.
For sure.
For expressing complex ideas in a concise and relatable way.
Okay, so they're not just about being funny.
No, they can be very practical, too.
And they show that you really have a good grasp of the language.
Absolutely. It's a sign of fluency.
So I'm ready to explore some more of these idioms.
Me too. Where should we start?
Well, I was really intrigued by the ones related to.
Oh, yeah. Those are good ones.
Yeah, I think those could be really useful for our listeners.
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
Okay, so
everyday life. Those are always fun.
Yeah, they are. And I think they can be really helpful for anyone learning English.
Especially
because they give you a glimpse into how native speakers actually talk.
Absolutely. So let's start with one that I think everyone can relate to.
Okay.
To bite off more than you can chew.
To bite off more than you can chew.
Have you ever done that?
Oh, all the time.
Me too.
Especially when I'm trying to learn new things.
It's easy to get overenthusiastic.
Yeah, and then you end up feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. So this idiom is all about taking on too much.
Okay, so it's like a warning.
Yeah, kind of like a reminder to pace yourself.
Don't be too greedy.
Right. Know your limits.
Okay, that's a good one.
What about to go with the flow?
To go with the flow!
That one's all about being adaptable.
Okay, so like rolling with the punches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not getting too attached to plans.
Being spontaneous.
Yes. Embracing the unexpected.
I like that one. It's very zen.
It is, and it's a good reminder that sometimes it's better to just relax and see where life takes you.
Definitely. Especially when you're traveling.
Oh, absolutely. You never know what adventures might come your way.
Okay, so we've talked about idioms related to everyday life.
We have.
But what about the workplace?
Ah, yes. The corporate jungle?
Are there any idioms that can help us navigate that?
Oh, tons. Let's start with to think outside the box.
To think outside the box, okay?
It's a classic.
It is, but what does it really mean?
It means to come up with creative solutions.
Okay.
To challenge assumptions.
To not be afraid to be different.
Exactly. It's about innovation and originality.
So if you're in a brainstorming session.
Yes.
And someone says, we need to think outside the box.
It means they're looking for fresh ideas.
Ideas that haven't been tried before.
Precisely. Something groundbreaking.
I like it. It's like a call to action.
It is. It's a challenge to be bold and imaginative.
Okay, so think outside the box is definitely going on my list of workplace idioms.
Good choice. It's a must-have.
What about to cut to the chase?
Ah, yes. That one's all about efficiency.
Okay, so getting straight to the point.
Exactly. No beating around the bush.
No small talk.
Nope, just the essential information.
I can see why that would be useful in the workplace.
Especially in meetings.
Oh, yeah. When time is money.
Exactly. So cut to the chase is a great way to signal that you value everyone's time.
And that you're focused on results.
Precisely. Okay, let's talk about one more workplace idiom.
Okay, hit me with it.
To move the goalposts.
To move the goalposts. Okay, I'm not sure I've heard that one before.
It's a bit more obscure.
But it sounds intriguing.
It is. It means to change the rules or expectations.
Oh.
Usually in a way that makes it harder for someone to succeed.
So it's like being unfair.
It can be. It's often used to describe situations where someone is constantly setting new targets.
So you never really know what you're aiming for.
Exactly. It's like a game you can never win.
That sounds frustrating.
It can be. So it's a good idiom to be aware of.
Yeah, definitely. It can help you identify those tricky situations.
And hopefully avoid them.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have, from everyday life to the workplace.
And we've learned some powerful verbs.
Nuanced adjectives.
And even some quirky idioms.
It's been a linguistic adventure.
It has. But now I'm curious about something else.
What's that?
This A1 to C1 challenge.
Oh, yes. That's a fascinating concept.
It really challenges the way we think about learning English.
It does. It shows that it's not just a linear progression.
Right. It's not just about moving from beginner to advanced.
It's more cyclical.
Okay. How so?
Well, the challenge highlights the importance of revisiting those fundamental concepts.
Okay.
Even at higher levels of fluency.
So even if you're at a C1 level,
yes,
you still need to make sure you've got those A1 basics down pat.
Absolutely. It's like building a house.
Okay.
You need a strong foundation to support everything else.
So it's not just about learning new vocabulary in grammar.
No, it's about constantly reinforcing and deepening your understanding
of those core concepts.
Exactly. It's a lifelong journey.
Okay, so I'm intrigued by this challenge.
Me too. It's a great way to test your knowledge.
And to identify any gaps in your understanding.
Exactly. So let's dive into some of the specific questions.
Yes, let's see what this challenge is all about.
All right, are you ready?
I think so. Bring it on.
Okay, here we go. So one of the questions in the challenge focuses on conditional sentences.
Oh, yeah, those can be tricky.
They can be.
A lot of moving parts.
Lots of ifs and thens and...
Exactly. And all those different tenses.
Yeah, you got to be careful with those tenses.
So why are conditionals so important?
Well, they allow us to express hypothetical situations.
Okay, so like what-if scenarios.
Exactly. Like, what would you do if you won the lottery?
Oh, that's an easy one. I'd quit my job.
See, you just used a conditional sentence.
I did.
Yeah.
Without even thinking about it.
Exactly. They're so ingrained in our language.
But I think what makes them difficult is that they deal with these hypothetical realities.
Right, alternate timelines.
It's like you're creating these parallel universes.
I like that. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure.
Yeah. And each choice leads to a different outcome.
And that's why the tenses are so important.
Okay, explain that.
Because the tense tells us which reality we're talking about.
Okay, so give me an example.
Sure, let's look at the difference between if I had known and if I knew.
Oh, yeah, those two always trip me up.
So if I had known refers to a past situation, something that didn't actually happen.
So it's a hypothetical.
Exactly. It's like saying if I had known it was your birthday, I would have brought a cake.
But you didn't know.
Right, so the cake never materialized.
Poor cake.
But if I knew refers to a present.
Okay.
Or future hypothetical situation.
So if I knew the answer to that question,
yes,
I would tell you.
Exactly. But you don't know.
Not yet.
So the condition hasn't been met.
Okay. I think I'm starting to see the difference.
Good. It's subtle.
It is, but important.
Definitely. It's all about those nuances.
It is. And that's what separates the advanced learners from the beginners.
So any other tips for mastering conditionals?
Practice.
Practice, okay.
Yeah, the more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
Okay, that makes sense.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Experiment, okay.
Yeah, try creating your own conditional sentences.
I can do that.
Put yourself in those hypothetical situations.
I like it. It's like a language game.
It is, and it's a fun way to learn.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have. From powerful verbs to nuanced adjectives.
To those quirky idioms and tricky conditionals.
It's been a linguistic whirlwind.
It has. But I feel like I've leveled up my English.
That's the goal.
So what's the takeaway message for our listeners? Never stop learning.
Never stop learning. Okay.
English is a constantly evolving language.
Right.
So there's always something new to discover.
New words, new grammar rules, new ways to express ourselves.
Exactly. So keep exploring.
Keep practicing.
And keep challenging yourself.
Because the journey to fluency is never truly over.
Well said.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
It's been a pleasure.
And until next time,
happy learning.
Happy learning.